Welcome to our session discussing how we can catalyze cohesiveness in the industry to enable financial resilience and economic growth. My name is Sarah Corley. I'm CEO of the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations. In this session, we explore why we formed in-country digital finance associations and the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations, and also begin to share some of our success stories of the impact that we've made and our vision for the future, and also importantly, why you should be involved with us. I'm delighted today to be joined by my other board members. We have Ashraful Alam, João Gaspar, Rob Ashley Madziva, Camilo Tellez, Jason Lam, Lito Villanueva, and Diana Akulu Wanyama. And it's really delighted that I'm going to be joined by the board to be able to have this conversation with you today. So our first question, I think, Camilo, I'm going to come to you. What are some of the challenges of achieving inclusive digital financial services, and how can we make sure that they benefit everyone?
Thank you very much, Sarah. So some of the key challenges that we find are that the industry has evolved and it really touches upon many sectors: ICT, finance, public sector, private sector, fintech, and there's a lot of fragmentation. Therefore, this is one of the challenges that needs to be addressed. In addition, there's also a shortage of capacitated staff and skilling that is required within the industry, for both in the public sector and the private sector, for people to be able to actually stay up to speed with all the innovation and the skills required to respond actually to the needs. There's also, because of the speed of innovation and the rollout of new products, policy and regulation often has to catch up actually with this innovation. So that is definitely a challenge that we often see. There's infrastructural challenges that many countries face, both from core infrastructure such as electricity and access to digital payments. But then in addition, as more countries roll out digital public infrastructure, there's obviously a gap there that will need to be addressed to make sure that it really is inclusive and it's addressing the needs of everyone in the market. Perhaps also one of the other big challenges is this issue around integration and interoperability. And this is tied to the bigger discussion about how to make payments responsible. It's important that silos are not preventing users from transacting and being able to affordably and freely basically use digital financial services. So it is really important for underserved segments that these constraints are not actually slowing down the development of the digital payments infrastructure, but more importantly, that it's not slowing down the take-up of digital financial products that actually address their needs. So I think it's really important that both providers, public sector, really have that responsible angle in terms of the design of financial services. And finally, sustainable and scalable operations. There's a lot of products out there, lots of interesting business models, but of course, these need to be done sustainable and scalable. So that's one of the other final challenges. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camilo. I mean, we can talk about challenges a lot, but I'd really love to move our conversation to talk to the solutions, right? What are some of the things that we can do or see happening to tackle some of those? So, Lito, I'm going to come across to you now and say, what solutions do you see to the challenges that Camilo raised?
Well, I think we have quite a number of solutions that we have actually lined up. And in fact, some of this would be about skilled and knowledgeable, up-to-date on industry trends and new technology, especially on connected workforce, as well as focusing on local expertise with knowledge and solutions for a particular market. So in this case, for example, Philippines. So collaborations and partnerships, as well as on policy, regulations, and infrastructure that allow inclusive digital financial services to thrive and of course survive. So and I think one of the items that we would also like to highlight is the fact that there should be non-partisan independent opinions that must also be harnessed or encouraged, so that collective voices across the digital finance ecosystem would also be heard. And I think most importantly, both locally within countries and regions, but as well as globally. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Lito. And what you're saying there, really is the crux of why we wanted to support the formation of local in-country digital finance associations, which we've done so far across Africa and Asia, and obviously plan to expand in the future. We've got 20 in development, 14 of which are currently operating and are existing members of the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations, which is great. And what we see, I think, is that they can start to meet some of these gaps. So we've talked about the problems, we've talked about the potential solutions, but whose role is it to provide, that connected workforce, to increase that collaboration and partnerships, and try and sort of create an ecosystem that can really provide digital financial services that are inclusive. And I'm really excited that we're not only joined by the Alliance board, but also many of our board members are the leads of the digital finance associations, our members in their own country. And so I'm going to open the floor and ask each of them to share the impact that they've made. So João, maybe we can start in Mozambique.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Yes, in Mozambique we started 4 years ago an association. We call it FinTech Association, but really it's a association of professionals and institutions that in somehow work in the digital financial services. And since 2020, that where we started in a public association of the association, we have been developed several initiatives. We have been put in place 3 FinTech weeks, one in each year, around the second week of February of each year. And we have made something like 72 meetings, several panels, discussion about technology and the impact on financial inclusion in the country. And last year, in 2021, we have been also invited by the central bank to be part of the working groups for financial inclusion. So right now we have 3 members of our board structure, board members that are working in expansion of financial access points, digital financial services, and payment interoperability, together with the central bank and the other shareholders or stakeholders in terms of digital economy in the country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, João. Let's move on to a different continent. Let's go across to Asia and Ashraful.
Thank you, Sarah. I mean, this Digital Finance Association has become I would say, a phenomenal improvement in the digital financial services space in Bangladesh. And the Digital Finance Association, we named it Digital Finance Forum Bangladesh. We have, a vibrant presence in the social media. We have our own Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and also we have organized several webinars around the current issues that are basically Bangladesh digital financial services ecosystem facing, like interoperability, digital credit. And we also produced a white paper on digital credit, nano credit, and the industry as well as the policymakers are utilizing those webinars, recommendation, as well as the white papers in crafting their strategies. Like the industry members are utilizing our white papers and webinars recommendation as their points to raise before the regulators and policymakers. And also while implementing policies and regulation, the central bank is utilizing these white papers. One of the characteristics of Bangladesh Digital Finance Forum is that majority of the members of the Digital Finance Forum are from the central bank. Within the central bank, this has created a positive impact among the senior regulators and policymakers. Nowadays, they basically call for the CDFPs in different departments while they basically talk about digital financial services. And our members are being, posted in departments, in activities where digital financial services are being major activities. And as part of, last Thursday, IMF organized a webinar, and in that webinar, Governor Talukdar has said that Bangladesh is going to experiment CBDC and other digital financial services issue. And he has mentioned that Bangladesh recently has given importance in creating capabilities in terms of digital financial services through various incentives in the digital financial services space. So that way, I see that Digital Financial Services Association in country has created, a lot of, impact in the industry as well as within the regulators and policymakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashraful. Wonderful examples of impact there. And staying on the Asian continent, we're going to go over to Lito. Now, Lito, you're a slightly different member than perhaps some of our others in that you existed before the Alliance did, but have joined us as you see so much synergy. So I'd love to know more about, why you wanted to be part of the Alliance, but also some of the impact that you've been making.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Well, you're right. We've been established since November of 2017, and that was actually an initiative in collaboration with our regulator. In fact, it was initiated by then Governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the late Governor Nestor Espinilla. So I just would like to sum it up to about 3 points. Why Fintech Alliance.ph or why Fintech Alliance Philippines has partnered or is now part of this global community, which is called the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations. So first is our aspiration to becoming a self-regulating body for fintechs and digital players in the Philippines. Second would be sustained thought leadership on enabling regulations and legislations to further stimulate inclusive innovations. And lastly, continuous engagement in building and expanding a sustainable digital finance ecosystem. So I think, given the fact that Fintech Alliance right now in the Philippines is the largest organization amongst startups and unicorns operating in the Philippines, and collectively the membership now contributes to more than 90% of digital transactions, financial transactions in the Philippines today. So I think having to be part of the alliance in a global scale would definitely be down to the benefit of the Philippines as a country, and of course also learning from various players as well, especially from other countries, and of course with the knowledge, expertise, and experience from the members of the board. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lito. And moving from Asia back across to Africa, Diana, it would be lovely to hear some of your impact you've made in Uganda.
Thank you very much, Sarah. In Uganda, we have an association called the Digital Frontiers Association, Uganda. We were formed in 2017, registered in 2018. Our mandate is to bring together different players in the digital finance ecosystem, different stakeholders, stakeholders from the banking sector, from the fintechs, from the development organizations, and from the central banks as well. In terms of the impact, the largest impact that we had as an association in Uganda was when they introduced the mobile money tax. And this tax reduced on the mobile money transactions by about 40% within 2 weeks. And so as an association, we realized that this was really affecting the financial inclusion agenda. People stopped people stopped transacting on the mobile, and they ended up now using courier, physical people to send money. So as a result of that, we held a discussion. We invited the MP, one of the MPs, the parliament, who sits at the parliament, and discussed, had discussions around the impact of what they had just signed and how it had reduced the transaction rate. So at that time, they had introduced a 1% tax on mobile money, and it really affected most of the citizens. And so after having that discussion with him, including the different players, we had also someone from FSD Uganda and the different professionals in the digital finance ecosystem. So after having that discussion, we were able to contribute to the white paper, which he went back to present to Parliament. And as a result, the mobile money tax was halved. So this was great impact. Our initial request was for it to be removed, but since they had already seen the impact of collecting money quick, at least we hit a win-win situation. And that was the impact we had. More recently, we had an engagement with the telcos. We have two big giant telcos that are in competition with each other. We're able to bring them together on the same table to discuss interoperability, how to get those two companies to work together and help the citizen reduce on the transaction costs that are really impacting on the citizens. So it was a very good discussion that we had with them in that webinar, or what we call a digital coffee place. We had someone from the central bank, and as a result of those discussions, we still have more collaborations happening between these two telco companies, including the central bank. So that's the impact that we've had, and we are continuing to have more stakeholders in the digital ecosystem come together to discuss industry issues and address the issues of the population.
What I wanted to do was actually emphasize the point that Diana made about the mobile money tax that came into Uganda. And I think it represents the power of these associations in markets where they come together and can highlight an important issue to regulators and to government officials that impact not only the business model of individual fintechs, but also the overall goal of greater inclusion. And so as a donor, this gives us really great pleasure, because we want to support the industry, but we don't want to get involved in a single player. We want to help the whole environment grow and flourish. And so I think that's just a perfect example, Diana, of how the association can come together and show the power of these individual companies that are working to expand digital financial services to a broader set of consumers.
Thank you so much, Jason. And it's really wonderful to see such amazing work happening. Everything from, simply bringing together and connecting individuals working in the digital finance ecosystem through sharing, upskilling and, capacitating through the conferences and events, influencing the landscape, the policy and regulations, all of these things I'm sure are going to have more and more impact as time goes on. And it's really amazing that already, just a year since the beginning of the Alliance formed, that we're able to start sharing some of these stories.
So we can see some influence and impact in countries, but what is the role of the Alliance and why did you want to join the board?
Well, I think that's a question of uniting all the interests and all the associations that we have with several countries. And we may say that we came from the Digital Frontier Institute organizations, let's say, about local associations in the countries. There are more than around 18 countries where there are COP members there are associations in those 18 countries, and so the alliance could be uniting all that knowledge and all that needs also in those countries, and bring together also partners, donors, other type of institutions to help increase the financial inclusion and services for those countries. So I think this is one of the most important areas or targets for the alliances, uniting all this community of associations to increase overall the knowledge and the usage of digital financial services for increasing the better life of the population of those countries. Okay.
Great, thank you, João. What about you, Ashraful?
Thank you, Camilo. Basically, I would say that the decision Digital Finance Forum Bangladesh took to join the alliance because this is the age of, globalization, and the problems are also, even though there are local problems, but it has global ramification. And the experience we gather, also the knowledge we produce locally is not sufficient. So we want to share experience with others, other jurisdictions. We want to share knowledge with others. We want to take knowledge from others so that the solution we design is much more comprehensive and much more well-judged decisions are being made. So this is one. This was some of the considerations that Digital Finance Forum decided to join the alliance. Also, we wanted to build a global community. Through that community, basically, we wanted to spread the importance of inclusive finance, importance of digital finance around the globe, and to build a community that will basically become stronger advocate around the world for inclusive finance and global digital financial services campaign. Our the leadership, the Digital Finance Forum leadership was one of those pioneers in the CIDM of DFI. And also Bangladesh Association was one of the pioneer association as well. So basically we wanted to join a global community and to give it a global voice, basically the inclusive finance and digital financial services and financial inclusion. Thank you.
So I really love those thoughts. And it's really exciting for me as the CEO to see why associations want to join the alliance. I see our role as being very much what you said, connecting, joining, being a single point of contact between multiple members across multiple countries. And that we really want to support the formation, sustainability and impact of the Digital Finance Association members that we have, and amplify that impact, to be able to share that on global platforms such as we have today. But I think it's also really important for us to, as the Alliance, to really sort of source and broker opportunities for our members, to help with that thought leadership generation. So we've heard very much that that's what's happening in your countries, but how can we do that on a global scale? And also to hold webinars and events, and make sure that the community are coming together and learning and sharing at things such as the Pathway to 17 Summit, for example. Camilo, I'm going to ask one question back to you. What was it? I mean, many years of experience that you have at Better Than Cash Alliance, but what is it about, the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations that made you feel passionate and want to join us on our board?
Thank you very much, Sarah. I think it's the fact that the linkage between capacity building and then having the opportunity to be able then to leverage this communities of practice and this community of practitioners across different areas to really connect upskilling along with the strategic objectives that perhaps a government may take to drive the digital finance agenda forward within a country. Really connecting those pieces at the country level, I think, is the way forward to be able to actually kind of drive an inclusive agenda. So being able to part of that, it was really exciting.
Wonderful. Well, we're delighted to have you and your experience and to help push those country-based agendas forward. Absolutely.
So Camilo, I just would like to ask about the Alliance's take on diversity and inclusion.
Thank you very much, Lito. During the past decade, across all organizations, we've realized and seen actually how women's economic and financial inclusion really is a priority for governments and companies. And we know now much more of the importance of removing structural barriers actually for women's active participation in the formal economy. And we see the Alliance and in the context of digital financial services, how providers can really make a big difference by hiring more women at banks, fintechs, providers, mobile money agents, because this can really encourage actually more women to become active participants, clients of DFS, but more importantly, leaders in their own right. So we see this as a crucial stepping stone to promote women's economic participation through DFS.
Rob, my question to you is, in case anyone watching is interested in joining the Alliance, what is the membership criteria and value Alliance can offer any Digital Finance Association member? Over to you, Rob.
Good question, Diana. Yeah, so it's very critical for members that they are legally registered and they have a vision for inclusive finance. This is very critical. On top of that, the membership should bring the ecosystem together. So if you're in one country, you should be non-partisan, you should be bringing in independent players and making sure that association is inclusive. That's very important.
And Rob, what do you see the Alliance offering? What's the value add that it gives to these associations, right? What's the draw card?
Oh, well, I don't think I have enough time to really describe what's there to offer, but credibility is one of the key things where that sense of belonging, visibility, and in a global organization becomes part of the whole ecosystem, and the support that the associations can get from the Alliance is immense. There's a lot of plans on making sure all the Alliance is actually self-sustainable in the end, but there is a lot of support in the background. And access to opportunities, of course, and this is a global network, so there is opportunities everywhere. I think especially so in the sense that this could be for an association an independent collective voice for digital finance, for inclusive finance.
Sarah, my question is to you is that, who can partner with the Alliance, and with this partnership, what value basically it will bring to the Alliance and vice versa?
Thank you so much for a wonderful question, Ashraful. And I think for me, what Alliance stands for is also collaboration. So any actor whose vision aligns with the Alliance, and with whom working together mutual value can be achieved, can join the Alliance. So that would be academic, other networks out there, development sector, those providing technology, obviously other digital finance associations out there, private sector. We're very open as to who would partner with us, but we have to have, as you said, that mutual kind of value add, and alignment on our vision. And so, the kind of value that the Alliance could bring is, ease of access to multiple markets and local experts. So through one communication with the Alliance can then open doors to multiple different people and entities across our membership. You know, we would be a really good source of new partners and collaborators, both on a global scale, but also specifically as well within countries. So if somebody wants to run a project, for example, in Tanzania, you know, I would very much connect them through to Rob and the association there, and you know, any other members that we'd be working with, for example. You know, I think also the value it can bring is, you know, combined efforts. So sometimes it can be difficult to have, you know the right people, the right resources, or the situation to deliver a project, so influence change. But with the Alliance's members and its expertise, we can definitely fast track and help that. And also, of course, just, you know, sharing best practice with each other, developing the skills and knowledge of the industry as well. All of those things are enormous value that the Alliance can really bring to people who want to partner with us.
So Lito, what value can the Alliance bring for sponsors and donors?
I think it's very clear, no? That's, for example, we are very grateful to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and of course to Digital Frontiers for helping our initial formation and incubation. Of course, we are thankful to all the members of the board and the founders as well of Digital Frontiers. And of course, for our donors, we were able to achieve our goals of financial resilience and economic growth in markets for all. So that would include women, youth, entrepreneurs, and of course, the micro, small, medium enterprises, or MSMEs. And all, of course, we would be working with local and non-partisan and inclusive professional bodies in countries and regions. As regards our sponsors, it would now demonstrate our commitment to inclusive finance, as well as increased visibility and access to markets. Thank you, Camilo.
Great, thank you, Lito.
Well, I think that we are reaching the end of this panel, but let me ask Sarah about what are the next steps? Where to go from here in terms of the Alliance implementation?
Well, I really encourage you all, firstly, to follow us on LinkedIn, the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations. The link appears below the video. And that way you can keep up to date with what we're doing and keep abreast of the activities. But also you can check out our Alliance website page as well, which will enable you to see our activities. I really would love for anyone who's thinking of partnering with or sponsoring or donating the Alliance to reach out and continue the conversation with myself. And also, for those of you in a country that, you know, maybe you've heard that there's an association, I encourage you all to either join an existing one, or if there's not one, start to form one and reach out. We'll be very, very happy to help you in the formation process. I really look forward to receiving your emails and messages as a result of today's session, and really growing the Alliance, the associations, and the impact that we make much further. Thank you everyone for listening to us. Thank you to my board for participating on the call with us today, and I hope you've enjoyed our session, and we look forward to working with you all hopefully very shortly. Thank you.